like Chris mentioned, Artemis got the key by dancing with the lady that Halliday was afraid to kiss, and the IOI track the burly face tattoo man and get the drop on Wade and Artemis. Artemis helps Wade escape, but in the process gets herself captured by the IOI.
Oh, no.
I know. The Samurai Man and H rescue Wade in their real-life Twitch streamer party bus. And this is where we learn that H is a black lady from Detroit.
Yep.
Artemis is imprisoned in VR, which is a very strange concept. She's mining coins in the Oasis for IOI, perhaps commentary on World of Warcraft gold farmers.
I'm going to jump in here for a second.
Go ahead.
I love that Artemis says, like, oh, I'm going to let you go and I'm going to stall them. And then she immediately just gets captured. She does nothing to stall them. Why didn't she just leave?
This is kind of where I start losing a little bit of steam, because my note here says, IROC activates some kind of orb. I'm lost.
I lost a lot of steam here, too, because I literally have no note between this and a big thing that happens later. Like, I just blacked out for 20 minutes of the movie, possibly.
I got a big gap in notes here, too.
Because the next thing I have is about a war that takes place, and not to get too far ahead.
Okay. Do you have anything, Anthony?
No.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I do have one note in the middle.
I have a note in between those two.
There's a woman looking for that Sorrento has hired to look like a mercenary to hunt down Wade, or an employee of his, some type of hit woman, and there's a part where she's trying to find Wade with these drones, right? Trying to find the van they're in, and she says she's looking at that thing and she says enhance enlarge, and I was like laughing.
What do you have, Anthony?
So this is another point that I mentioned earlier, that like everything is either way over-explained or way under-explained. So they hack into the big bad guy's cyber recliner to trick him into letting Artemis go, right? And then they do that, right? And then they literally spend a minute explaining what they just did, even though we saw them do it on screen. Like, it's very obvious what they're doing. Like, oh, okay, cool. They're not really in his office. They're in cyberspace. But then they have to spend a minute explaining that to the office. Like, why? I don't know. We literally just saw it. Like,
that was more for Steven Spielberg, because he's an old man that doesn't understand technology.
That's the thing. Like, I'm a Spielberg fan, but like, dude,
clearly he had like stuff explained to him and he still didn't quite get it, but it ended up in the movie anyway.
Like,
something like that.
This movie feels like the movie equivalent of like asking your stupid uncle like for his dissertation on video games after he spent like 2 or 3 minutes watching someone play Bayonetta. It like just like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you know what I likened it to, and I told my wife this. It was like if you walk up to your uncle and ask him to dab because you think it's funny. And then he like does it like really badly, but like, you know, you think it's cool that he put in effort and you laugh and he thinks it's funny and you think it's funny.
And then he does it
there's
forever.
Nothing malicious about it.
Yeah.
But he just keeps, then he keeps doing it for like the next 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Like every time he says something to you, he dabs like right before he walks away. And then it like turns just annoying after a while. That's what it felt like to me.
So, like Anthony said, the heroes like infiltrate. It seemed the movie portrays it like they're doing it in real life, but like they're kind of doing like an Inception thing where it's like they're faking real life inside of the bad man's VR set. He eventually figures it out, but in the meantime, the guys, well, I guess it's H and Wade, they guide no, it's the samurai guy, but they guide Artemis to escape from her VR prison, which you can apparently do from inside of your room
right.
in real life. It seems like a design
That's
oversight.
a design flaw. Like, you don't have to do anything special to get out of them.
Right.
You just, like, undo the latch.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to, like, walk her through, like, you know, some, like, virtual, like, ice breaking or something. And nope, it's just, you just pull that latch. All right, you're out. Cool.
Right. You could do it from the inside of this room that's designed to be a prison.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get, like, a cool cyberpunk scene where she's doing some hacking or something. Nope. Yeah, she just opened the latch. Sweet.
I want to see buffer overflows. An arbitrary execution of code. So the bad man, he screams, "They hacked my rig! They're after the girl!" And he angry walks towards the camera. This is probably where Chris... this is where your notes probably resume, because I have here, Wade gives a stirring speech Patton would be proud of.
Yes, I said, this is my exact note at this point. Why are we at war? Why is Wade giving a pregame speech?
So Catwoman, Batman, the capital citizens from Hunger Games, and yes, even probably Tracer from Overwatch listen as he gives this speech.
I believe the Battletoads were there too.
The Battletoads were absolutely there.
Oh, no,
Yep.
hold on, this is different.
Yep.
These are people listening to the speech. This isn't the war
Oh,
quite
okay, you're
yet.
right.
Okay.
This is just before it. I'm sorry to be so pedantic, but I wouldn't be judged without being pedantic. But they activate the Iron Giant, famous for being a powerful weapon and wanting to be a weapon. That was the message of the movie, right? The Iron Giant wanted to be a war machine.
He's like, I wish I could murder more people.
Oh, Iron Giant does something in a little bit that made me groan pretty loud too.
Yeah,
But
I do.
Yes.
So in the book, I believe it's like Voltron and like some like Power
yes.
Rangers
Yeah.
or Masked Rider
It was.
thing.
I think it was Voltron.
Anthony, do you recall why they went to war in the book? Or
So well, that's the problem with the book versus there are literally no stakes in the movie, right? It's like, oh man,
Yeah, why would people do this in a video
I don't
game?
like
It's
I don't like
who
how EA is running Star Wars Battlefront, so I'm gonna the original George Lucas made before George Lucas died, he made a crazy contest that I'm gonna enter to get control of Star Wars Battlefront, get rid of these loot boxes. Like in the book,
beloved by the creator, hated by the public, Jar Jar Binks.
in the book there are stakes. There's like, oh, okay, people like live and work and
That's the
go to
second
school
clue.
in the Matrix. So like, or the Oasis, same difference.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there would be a reason that you wouldn't want a company who's going to charge people to have control of it, because like you want people that get the same education opportunities as everyone else, right? So like, there are no stakes in this movie. There are absolutely no stakes.
Mostly it's just that, oh, these stuffy suits are going to ruin our good time.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Oh my gosh, they want membership tiers so I can play Street Fighter. This is malarkey.
As the Iron Giant gazes on the battlefield, a dull roar can be heard behind him. The bad man is horrified to see a giant stampede rushing towards his force field. They include the Battletoads from Battletoads, Luke on a tauntaun or ostrich, maybe.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Was that okay?
They couldn't
hard to
afford the
see.
tauntaun.
Reference confetti.
I believe the Ninja Turtles were in the mix.
Yep, Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
not the 80s Ninja Turtles, the 2000s
No.
Ninja Turtles.
Of course.
Which
They were
goes
cheaper.
against everything Halliday.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Halliday wouldn't like the modern Ninja Turtles if he was the nerd that we suspect he
Right,
is.
exactly. He would hate them.
I mean, let's face it. Like, there's a lot of Halliday in all four of us.
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
Different
So, like-
aspects, but true.
And I think that's what the movie preys on at its core, right?
Right.
Is like that nostalgia within us. And no person of, I'm not sure the target audience of this movie. I assume it's people in our age, white males in our
Right.
age. And I assume most people in that demographic would all agree, like 98% of them, 99 would say the old Ninja Turtles over the new ones,
absolutely.
right? And they would also put Mario in there. Where's Mario?
Where's Mario? But Mario is missing. It's canon. Mario is missing his canon.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyways, We're Not Gonna Take It starts to play on the radio by the Twisted
that was bad
Sister.
too.
Oh no, I'm not done identifying characters that I saw in a crowd. There's Tracer, Chun-Li, skeletons, a rat person, maybe from Bad Rats, several Master Chiefs from Halo, maybe including Joe Chief. The video is too artifacted for the third shot, so some kind of praying mantis man, and maybe the sniper from TF2. And then
It was Zorak from Space Ghost. It wasn't really Zorak.
that would be great.
All right, let's talk about this.
That would be great.
Let's play a game. What character could they have shown you that would have actually legitimately excited you?
Okay,
Oh,
this is
man.
good. Okay.
I don't have one off the top of my head, so if anybody's got one, throw it. I got one. This is a 90s. This is a deep 90s cut, so stay with me.
Okay.
Forrest Gump.
Ooh, yeah.
That would have been great.
He's running like Forrest Gump runs.
Oh my god.
And then maybe like he has a friend with him that's Lieutenant Dan in the wheelchair.
What
Ooh,
about
I
like
got
the
one.
what about the fat twins, except they're one person and they just control two people at once?
The reference that I was hoping for that I did not get is all over the book, and I had never seen this film, and I watched it after I read the book. It was Lady Hawk. Do you guys know Lady Hawk? 1985 film. It was like a fantasy film. It's really quite bad, but they talk about it like a shit ton in the book. So I was hoping for a Lady Hawk reference. I did not get one.
What was yours, Tom?
So I got two actually. First one should be obvious. It should have been The Mask.
Oh, that's a good one too. he hits like bad guy with a mallet.
Yeah, I mean, how hard could that have been? I mean, it was a comic book character, so the licensing belongs to somebody.
It does, yeah, totally.
So they could have gotten it. Number two, the little short, fat child Louie from Life with Louie.
Bobby from Bobby's World.
One of the notes I have here is Chucky comes in and attacks Wade in the Back to the Future car. What on earth?
Yeah, I have Chucky, and then they see Mecha Godzilla.
Yep.
And Artemis responds to Mecha Godzilla in the "My God" reaction. Like they zoom in tight on her face as she's looking up at Mecha Godzilla, and she goes Mecha Godzilla, kind of like that. So I got a big question about Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, go for it. Strangely, not canonical Mecha Godzilla. That's what bothered me.
Oh God! See, another thing they got wrong was Mecha Godzilla on IOI's side. Did the IOI make a deal with him?
I don't know. Well, because if we
I was
recall
really hung
earlier,
up on whose side Mecha Godzilla was on.
if we recall earlier, he makes like replicas of robots and stuff, right? That's why he's got the Iron Giant. So I assume someone just made a Mecha Godzilla for this company, which also makes it so that there's no sense because later in this fight, to fight Mecha Godzilla, a Gundam comes out, but the Gundam only lasts for 30 seconds. Why? Why does it only last for 30? Like, did Bandai say you can only use the Gundam for 30 seconds? Like, I know why in the book it only lasts for 30 seconds, but again, they either over-explain or don't explain at all.
But before the Mecha Godzilla, though, we see the bad man's hench lady driving down the streets in the real world, and she wears an expression of shock as she sees everyone on the sidewalk fighting the good fight against the evil corporation in VR. Even film magician Steven Spielberg cannot make someone doing stuff in VR look cool. And my final note here is the Ninja Turtles punch a bad guy and he turns into coins.
If only we lived in this reality.
Oh, yeah. The Samurai Man turns into a Gundam, possibly because he's from Japan and Gundams live in Japan. And I have here, for some reason, the Samurai Man can only be a Gundam temporarily, heightening the drama. This is like a problem with the film, is like, it all seems like meaningless.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it's like, oh, well, here's this limitation. You can't use the Gundam forever. And it's like, well, why? How come the Super Mecha Godzilla can be that forever? And it's just like, it's like an artificial like wrinkle.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just add rules and where they are needed for the plot device or whatever they're trying to use.
Artemis shoots out Mecha Godzilla's eyes and throws a Junkrat ball inside, killing the bad man's avatar in the video game.
Nope. That was a mad ball.
It's a mad ball.
That was a mad ball.
Did anyone here ever own mad balls?
Yes.
Did you? Okay, I never got one.
A big bouncy ball.
They're balls with an ugly face on them. You can Google them. I think it was Mad Balls with a Z.
I believe you're
possibly.
Right. I was at a friend's birthday party, and like in the little things they give out, what are they? Little gift bag, little kitty gift bags. People like got them, but I didn't get one, and it felt appropriate.
Poor Anthony.
It feels like a larger problem in my life.
I'm sorry,
okay.
Anthony.
I just didn't.
The Mad Balls.
Why did I get
art
one?
style.
Everyone else got one. Didn't think I was gonna want one. All right, that's not cool.
Yeah, the Mad Balls art style resembles the Rat Fink.
It
kind
does,
of,
yeah.
I guess. to me, or maybe like the close-ups in like SpongeBob or Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
I don't know why it explodes. That wasn't a trait of the toy, but whatever. She throws it in, the bad guy explodes.
Mm-hmm. The Iron Giant helps our heroes cross over a lava pit, but falls in.
Yep, and then this is my second most loudest groan in the movie. He as he falls in the lava pit, he gives the thumbs up like the Terminator in Terminator 2.
That was bad.
I'm not gonna lie, I chuckled. I chuckled.
My note next to it is, I do not like how this made me feel.
Did you wipe a single tear from your face when the Iron Giant died? Just like in the real Iron Giant movie.
Again, he dies all over again.
Wasn't bad enough the first time.
I got a confession, boys. I don't like the Iron Giant.
Oh, get out of here. You're fired.
Come at me, nerds. Come at me. I'm not a big cartoon guy.
It's good. Is it my favorite movie ever? No. It's good, though. That's a solid B.
Nerds put it on the pedestal of the episode of Futurama where Fry's dog, waits for him.
And when the horse dies in Shadow of Colossus.
Of course, yes, that too.
That's not even the saddest thing that happens in Shadow of Colossus.
I agree. It's a different story for a different podcast.
All right.
So Artemis dies in the video game and uses the opportunity to escape by just walking outside. Yeah. Presumably she gets on a bus.
This was my favorite part of the movie because the shot of her like getting out of the building and then getting into the good guy's van, it looked like she wet her pants.
I missed that.
The suits that they have, they're like gray, and then like they have a different material on the crotch for some reason, and it just looked like she wet her pants. I was laughing up a storm.
Did the Artemis killing thing with Wade happen before that happened?
No, I think that's what happened.
That's what happened.
Yeah, I just kind of
okay.
I guess I spaced out, and I'm like, oh, she died, and she just walked away.
Yeah, Wade shoots her. His avatar shoots her so she can get out of the place because he's afraid she's going to get caught inside the whatever it's called, the IOI Corporation.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Loyalty Center.
Great.
Yeah.
Corporations are bad.
Corporations are bad,
yes,
bro.
Because, backstory, Artemis's dad was captured by, was it IOI? What's the name of the company?
IOI, yeah.
And I guess they force you into a form of indentured servitude by taking on all of your debt that you accumulated in the Oasis. And they force you to work it off.
Yeah, by doing a call center stuff. That's what happens in the book. I remember that.
This is why I'm free to play all the way.
Good, Anthony. You're fighting the good fight.
So Artemis gets out, gets in the traveling van with the misfits and
the Twitch party van, yeah.
The Twitch party van. And Wade starts fighting what's his face, right? In the Oasis, inside the Oasis. So outside the Oasis, they're traveling in the Twitch party van, the high five.
Mm-hmm.
But inside, Wade is fighting like a kung fu fight against Sorrento, right?
Oh,
at this point,
Chris, you skipped like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's fine.
Really?
Fine, it's fine.
Did I?
It's okay.
It's a mess. Everything is like a mess at this point. In my defense,
it is a mess. It's okay. I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the movie. So Wade throws the holy hand grenade and it kills the bad guys in front of a hole. I said, that's good payoff.
Again, that's the problem. It's not good payoff. If he would have thrown it and only counted to 2 and then it didn't go off, that would be great payoff. But he just throws it and it explodes.
Now, if you remember earlier in the film, he bought the grenade and then he used it in the third act. That's called Pavlov's dog.
But if you're going to do a reference, you got to actually it's just like, oh, this is an object from a film. Well, I used the object from the film. Great. No, if you're going to do a reference, make him count to 3. Make him do the wacky voice. I would have hated it if he did. I would have absolutely hated it. But, make him do that. There's no reason to have a reference if you don't use the reference.
I agree.
At least if they did it, they would have absolutely earned the hatred.
Yeah, totally.
Wade plays some crappy Atari game I've never heard of because he realizes Halliday said something about wandering around in the dark. I'm running out of steam here, and I ain't talking about the reliable gaming service.
Hold on. When they're kung fu fighting, Wade kicks Sorrento's avatar in the nuts, and they cut to Sorrento's face IRL, in his rig, and he makes like an O face.
Not like an O face from the film. What's that movie?
Office Space.
Office Space, which was from the 90s.
Different. That would have been a cool reference. Have Jennifer Aniston in the TGI Fridays uniform.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, the Holy Hand Grenade, then he plays the Atari Adventure
Yep.
game, right?
Yep.
Like you were saying, to find the very first Easter egg.
Well, isn't this... So Wade detonates the Deus Ex Machina bomb that kills friend and foe alike?
That wasn't the Holy Hand Grenade? I'm confused.
No, this was
No,
the bad guy activated it. Why? I don't know. Because he didn't want to win the contest, I guess.
For some reason, the coin that the butler gave Wade earlier that we forgot to mention, that gives him like an extra life, so he survives it.
In the book, he gets the coin by beating Billy Mitchell's score on Pac-Man.
Is that real?
That's totally real. Wow. Except for the Billy Mitchell part.
Oh boy, they're gonna have to do some edits to that book.
He's innocent. It was a hit job by an unfair press.
No, he gets a high score on Pac-Man. So when I originally first saw the trailer for this movie, I was like, I read this book. It was basically Dungeons and Dragons and Pac-Man. This doesn't seem anything like the book.
Yeah, I remember it being a lot of Atari and arcade games and Dungeons and Dragons, to your point.
So, spoiler alert, there was no Dungeons and Dragons except for Wade's shirt. I was pretty upset by this.
All the bad people watch Wade beat the game and seem happy for him now for some reason.
It's very important to note, he did not beat the game.
You're right, Tom. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
In fact,
the
evil
larger
corporation
game,
loses.
I guess.
The
meta game.
Yes.
He was beating the meta
He did
game.
not beat Adventure. He found the Adventure Easter egg, and that was the whole point of the third key.
You're right.
Chris, do you remember what the third challenge was in the book? Because I do not.
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, we're not going to talk about it.
I thought it was this. I think
it was.
I need to check that. Though.
Okay, I'm not.
I'm not going to.
We'll just say it was.
Make the intern do it.
So, he beats it and he gets the third key, but he's got to put the keys in the keyhole, right?
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
It's
My
okay.
bad.
So the gang meet up with Artemis in H's ice cream truck in real life. They pick her up, exchange dialogue, and H says, "All right, everybody, hold on to something."
Oh my god, I wrote this down too. I know where you're
20
going.
miles an hour.
Yes, she very carefully navigates a left-hand turn in a crowded alleyway.
Yep.
So they're tailed by the henchwoman, and the bad man gets a gun, presumably to shoot the children holding up traffic in their ice cream truck.
Weird.
Okay, so Wade, not knowing he's being broadcast live to the world, vocalizes his internal monologue that this crappy Atari game has the first Easter egg in it. Halliday's Gandalf avatar appears and gives him the final key. There's some drama about Wade trying to put the key into the keyhole while H is driving away. So that's where you were right, Chris. I guess I had more filler in between it, so I'm sorry for wasting everybody's time.
No. So he's broadcasting to them, and also I think it's important to note at this point he finds out he's broadcasting to everybody that has an Oasis headset. So he tells them that he needs help in the Columbus Stacks.
Yep.
Right, which is the key.
It's like cheap pop. He's like, I love local sports team.
The one thing
he's gonna need their help.
The one thing that we haven't mentioned is that H is portrayed by the actress who plays Aziz Ansari's best friend in Master of None. Man, isn't that Thanksgiving episode great, you guys?
It was very
so good. What's gonna happen to that show?
It was a lot more important than this. So, anyways. Wade is trying to put the key in, and I have a note about this ice cream truck is driving down the street at like 10 miles per hour.
Yeah,
and Wade's falling all over the place trying to put the key in because they're getting rammed by the bad guy. And some woman on the side of the street just yells, "Stick the key in! How hard is it?" Which I wrote about
Backseat
20
gaming?
jokes off of that. That one line, I wrote like 20 different jokes, all inappropriate, and I won't share.
That's actually a commentary on video game criticism in the modern age. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. It might look easy to do from just watching the video, but behind the scenes, there's a lot going on you don't know about. So there you go.
Yeah. He said no backseat gaming. That's what Wade should have said.
Exactly.
So he puts the key in. He gets all the keys in.
So in VR, Halliday tricks Wade by offering him some kind of fake contract. It's like a Willy Wonka thing.
After he's tried to kill him, by the way.
Can you go into that? Because I missed it.
Yeah, I missed that too.
Well, no, he blows up the stacks, remember?
No, Halliday.
Oh, Halliday.
is
Oh,
offering,
that's
like,
right.
a
My
fake
bad.
contract. Right, like it's like a weird Willy Wonka thing at the end where he's like, I don't know, like he's trying to prove that whoever wins has a good soul and can be honest, but really it seems like Halliday is just an egomaniac and wanted to drag the world into a self-indulgent
Which would have made the
reflection on his life.
villain's pursuit of the Oasis irrelevant. So
Right, it would be totally moot.
Absolutely. So good storytelling point there. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, old Daddy Spielberg.
So Halliday gives him a tour of the real admin debug room or something, and there's a switch to turn off the Oasis. Why this is possible or enticing to anybody is anyone's guess. I don't think the bad guys wanted to turn off the Oasis, nor did Wade, so whatever.
I think it was only set up for a joke 30 seconds later.
It's in the book,
It's
too.
a little like it because in the book you do not see what he decides to do, what Wade decides to do. It's a little bit of like it's a little more nuanced because again, in the book there are stakes, right? You could turn off the Oasis and make everyone actually have to interact in real life. Oh my gosh, how horrible! But there are like useful things in the Oasis that people need every day, like education. In this, it's just like I'm turning off World of Warcraft forever. Fuck you guys.
Which I would do for the
too.
record. I would push the button. I think it was only set up for like the van gets rammed, the Twitch party ice cream truck gets rammed, and it makes Wade's avatar almost fall into pressing the button.
Yeah.
So I think that's supposed to make people like gasp.
Oh man, so scary.
Like kind of like a jump scare technique almost.
They used it to good effect because it's in the book too. So I guess I'm fine with like them using it like at least for that, but it seemed weird to me in the podcast I listened to that they brought up that you could shut down the Oasis because nobody wants that. That was never the goal to anybody. So like, why is it even in the book?
Maybe to display the power that Wade now has. I'm taking guesses here. I don't know.
Well, I think in the book you sort of get a more nuanced view that like, okay, like the Oasis like probably isn't a good thing for society. I don't know if they talked about this in your podcast, is that like basically the reason that society has gone to shit is because like everyone's just in the Oasis all the time and doesn't really give a shit about the real world. So like maybe it would just be good to turn off this video game once in a while, you guys, so you could like deal with stuff that's real.
Which they do kind of end up doing at the end, by the way.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, but I feel like they take the easy way out kind of in the film.
Yes, I agree 100%.
I love how, Anthony, you're like talking. I feel like we're kind of defending the book against the movie, and the book is bad.
I liked it. I don't care. You're right.
We're like,
you're right.
This nuanced approach. The book has like 3 pages of him listing pop culture references.
You're 100% right. That being said, I enjoyed the book. I had a good time listening to it. It made my drive to work enjoyable. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, no qualms. I enjoyed it. So, but
I agree. I just felt it was worth pointing out.
It is not a good book. I also like really enjoy the cyberpunk genre, and this is kind of like a fun, goofy cyberpunk book, which there are not a lot of. So
yeah, no, that's fair. So he's in the admin room, huh?
Mm-hmm. Reality is real.
Yep.
James Halliday.
Yep.
Poignant.
He hands Wade an egg in VR, which represents being an admin.
I got a big problem with the whole egg thing, by the way.
All right, I want to hear Chris first and then Tom.
So Halliday gives Wade a speech about how you shouldn't be a shut-in nerd at the end, which I put a good suggestion for everyone involved, including us.
You guys gotta want to hang out after this? You gotta go to the bar?
Pass.
Okay, yeah. You're probably right.
We're hanging out right now.
You're
I
probably
like to stay
right.
home.
You're probably right.
Let's play some Overwatch after this, Chris.
See, I'm lying.
No problem. I want to play Tracer. I've seen her in this movie a lot, and it made me think about how I want to play Overwatch. And there's an event going on, and I want to purchase some of the
skins,
microtransactions, that you can buy. That's what the movie made me think of. Anyways, Tom, what is your problem with the egg, Tom, that he is given by Halliday? A glowing egg.
My problem with the egg scene in general. Okay, so the implication here is that Halliday basically programmed himself into the game, right?
Yes.
So there's a line there where Wade says, "Oh, does this mean Halliday's alive?" And clearly he's still dead. And he goes, "Well, what are you?" And he just walks away.
He smiles knowingly and walks away.
Yes. So the implication to me is that he's some sort of program, right?
No, he's
That's
an
part of
angel. That's what I wrote. I said, Spielberg, you've done it again.
I wrote that he was a ghost.
Listen,
We have
listen, you guys are
program
all
angel
wrong.
and ghost.
He's a crystal
The
skull.
proverbial ghost in the machine.
He's a crystal skull, you guys. He is alien.
yes.
Way to resurrect himself.
So
I actually had AI ghost for the record.
what I ran with my theory that Halliday programmed himself into the game. And the fact that he would program himself to lose the egg and then fumble around trying to find it for 10 minutes irritated me so bad I almost turned the movie off.
You were
See,
right.
I saw it different. I'm thinking back to the AIM Cleverbot days, and like you just ask a question that the Cleverbot doesn't know, and like he'll just give you like a little winky face. That's what was going on here to me.
That's good too. A lot of good takes.
So he hands him the egg. The egg is glowing, right?
Oh, yeah.
This coincides with the bad man, Sorrento, coming upon the van.
Pointing a gun at a child.
Yeah, pointing a gun at the child. And he sees the reflection of the glowing egg in the VR headset of Wade. Mm-hmm. And a single tear goes down Wade's cheek.
Oh, yes. I wrote
through
that
the
down, too.
headset. Through the headset. And I think Sorrento, I'm not quite sure, but I guess it was implied that Sorrento is so overcome with the beauty.
Yes, he
of
gives
the
himself
egg.
up.
He gives himself up?
Yes.
Why did he shoot
He's
the
a bad
kids?
businessman. That's why.
And also they had the whole Columbus stacks. That's where they drove to try and stop Sorrento, but it turned out to not matter because he had a
Right.
gun.
They didn't form any sort of resistance at all.
Yeah, that was so weird because I thought for sure they were like, "Oh, cool." So all the people from the tower and the surrounding area that he blew up with the drones, they're gonna get him. And then he just holds a gun up in the air and they part like the Red Sea.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to work the other way, right? I guessing you guys did too. Like he's going to come upon them, he's going to pull the gun, and then everyone from the stacks is going to come out and stop him.
Yes.
Yeah. That would have been like, that would have illustrated what the movie was trying to do, which is like, reality is what's real, right? And like,
Yeah.
reality should have stopped Sorrento because like his misdeeds in real life prevent him from getting control in the fake world. But that doesn't happen. The fake world actually affects the real
Terrible
world.
payoff.
Yeah, like really bad.
So he gives himself up because of the beauty of the egg,
That he can't see.
the CGI glowing egg.
So Wade proclaims he's not a freaking nerd like Halliday, and he kisses Artemis. And Wade signs a contract to be in charge of a video game. Every kid's dream.
I also don't understand the contract, right? So the whole point of Halliday's test at the end of the third key is, here's a contract and a pen, sign it. And he says no, and he wins the contest. But then immediately, as soon as he gets
He
the
has to
egg,
sign a
someone
different
said-
contract.
somebody shoves a piece of paper in his face with a pen, and he's like, sign this. He's like, okay. And he immediately signs.
The other one he signed was in real life.
Mhm.
And we skipped over my very last note. When the man who asked him to sign the contract is named Ogden Morrow.
Yeah,
Played by?
And they open the van doors, and Ogden Morrow is there, and all the kids yell Ogden Morrow. My note was, who is Ogden Morrow? Why did they react to him like he was a big celebrity?
It's aged up Simon
And
Pegg.
it took me a minute. Oh, that was Simon
Wasn't
Pegg.
it?
It doesn't
Okay.
matter. It took me like 5 minutes to realize that Ogden Morrow was Halliday's original partner, or am I still
No,
wrong? on
it
that?
was. You're right.
Okay. Again, they didn't establish these old scenes well enough for me to really pay attention to that. And so I just was like lost for a second when they introduced Ogden Morrow, who asked them to sign this dumb second contract that Tom was talking
Yeah,
about.
it's dang old Simon Pegg. You didn't recognize Simon Pegg from earlier in the movie?
No. I don't know.
That's on you.
just close out. The movie ends with Wade explaining that the High Five took over the Oasis and hired Halliday's friend Ogden, who you just went into, who was secretly the curator helping Wade,
who gave him the extra
to
life.
a non-exclusive contract. Hooray! Wade says that they decided to close the Oasis 2 days a week so people could spend time in real world, which is antithetical to the entire movie. And this is my final note. Artemis wears a prom dress and makes out with Wade.
I had that. It's a good note. I had that the whole closing of the Oasis on Thursdays and Tuesdays kind of revealed a little bit more of the author again and his God complex. God, the Christian version, created the earth and on the seventh day he rested, kind of thing. I drew an analogy to that, I guess. And that he was now the god of the video game.
Wow.
And like everybody's dream, like you said, every child's dream.
Why did he pick those 2 days though? I think Tuesday is comic book day, if I recall correctly. Is Thursday a video game day? Like, do new video games come out on Thursday?
I mean, there is Patch Tuesday, so it could be day after Tuesday, but I don't know about Thursday. Sorry.
Okay.
Must see TVs on Thursdays.
There you go. I don't know. Why didn't he do the weekend? Or he just assumed people wanted to play video games on the weekend. They should be going on picnics with their friends. Why don't we go on picnics more, you guys?
I don't know. I had this whole like series of thoughts about like, what about the people that have to work on Tuesdays and Thursdays?
My understanding, based on all the people that were on the side of the road just throwing punches into the air, is that nobody works in this world.
Right. Except for the good people at the IOI Corporation, who are now all out of jobs.
Because it's also implied at one point in the movie that Wade doesn't leave his house for like 3 or 4 days, and he's just he's in the Oasis the whole time.
Well, again, in the book, he's a student, so like he's going to school, like he has to like solve these challenges in between school hours.
Yeah, they do not go over any of that.
They certainly don't.
I just thought he was a deadbeat.
Right, exactly.
He looks kind of old in the film too. He's still like a young adult.
Right. He looks like I don't know the actor that played him, but I'm almost certain he's been in another dystopian future type movie. He just has like the face
X-Men,
for it.
I believe.
He was the
X-Men?
Cyclops in the X-Men or something.
Oh, was he?
I think.
I think that's what the Red Letter Media guys say. Please watch us instead of that.
I mean, they're good. They put out good content. You can listen to both. There's no reason you can't.
No, you can't. It's us or them.
That's what this whole movie is. That's what this whole movie is about. It's us or them. It's like, we the nerds. We're the superior group because we won. All these businessmen, they're jerks and we hate them. I don't know. The movie's not good. Don't watch it.
I want to give like my existential dread based on all this. So a common criticism of Family Guy is that they just like reference stuff, right? And like, I can't believe I'm going to be defending Family Guy in 2018. But a lot of the time when Family Guy references something, they like kind of make it a joke. Like they kind of like do like a twist on it, right? They don't always do it. A lot of the time it is just like, remember this thing? And then that's kind of like the quote unquote joke. But I think like the majority of the time, 51%, like they do like kind of take it into a different creative quote unquote direction. I feel that this film and book were totally creatively bankrupt. I'm afraid of the future because this movie did pretty well. It got like 400 million.
And it got good reviews. This movie got good reviews. This movie is not good.
Why? It was kind of a mess.
The bar gets lowered, lower and lower because it's like, people were crapping on Family Guy when it came out because like The Simpsons was all original and like Family Guy kind of leaned on references. Now you don't even need to like do anything with the references. You could just like say Star Wars, Star Trek, the Iron Giant. And like you don't even need to like do anything with those things. And I'm very afraid of the future because this film succeeded.
You sound like an old man, but I agree with you.
Thank you.
No, I would say that I felt like the book did a good job of integrating like references with a dystopian cyberpunk style book. I enjoyed the book. I would give it a B. I did not enjoy the movie. I don't know that I would give it an F though. I'd give it like a D. Like maybe a C- if I'm feeling generous. But yeah, there were some real cringeworthy points, and yeah, I don't know. I did not leave the theater happy.
Oh, you paid
I
money
did.
to see this?
I literally got out of the. We started recording like probably an hour ago. I got out of the theater an hour and a half ago.
Oh my god!
I saw it in 3D. I was the only.
Wow.
I was the only one. Me and my fiance were the only ones in the theater, and so I was actually, it was okay because I took notes on my phone during the film. I would have never done that if there were any other people in the theater. I'd have been so annoyed. But yeah, I don't know. She didn't like it. She hasn't read the book. She didn't like it either. Yeah, I didn't like it. It made me feel gross.
That's a good test. So she didn't like it. Your fiance didn't like it. How much of the references did she say she got? Or did you ask her?
I didn't ask her. If I had to guess, I mean, there's a lot that are obvious. Like all the 80s ones are pretty obvious. But again, it's mostly video game shit, and she could not be less interested in that stuff. So I'm guessing probably not a lot. She probably got like the Street Fighter ones, and she knew who the Halo guys were. She mentioned that in the car. But she wouldn't have known like the Overwatch stuff. She got the Minecraft ones. I think that's probably about it.
There wasn't like when you're talking about it in the car after, there's not like this, oh, there's not like this fun naming of like what you saw necessarily. Right? It wasn't like this like I Spy type game you played.
And I feel like that's like, this is like this weird phenomenon that has occurred in the internet. It is like, oh, spot the reference, right? So like, people will spend hours poring over like a Captain America trailer. Be like, oh, did you see on the screen in the background it had this person's name and he was a minor character in Captain America 432. This feels like an entire movie of that like mentality. And that like, it's crazy because like, who cares? Who honestly cares?
So the movie doesn't please anybody because if you don't know the references, then it's like devoid of anything you could even like hang on to. And if you do know the references, it's like incidental. It makes
they don't pay anything off.
The story. Yeah,
I just like don't care. Like I'm not somebody that's. I would say out of all four of us, I'm maybe the most susceptible to nostalgia.
Okay,
like I'm the most willing to play an old video game over again. I feel out of the four of us.
Yeah, that's fair.
And or watch a very old 80s movie I've seen, let's say. And but like I'm not wowed by, like you said, these references. Like it just like made me be like, oh yeah, Back to the Future. That's a good movie.
And you love Back to like
like that's like my reaction
anyone
to
who
most
loves
of the
Back to the
references.
Future. It's probably you, right?
Yeah, no, I like that movie. I'm going to give you a great thing I might have said before. I was conceived after that movie was created. After my parents saw that movie.
Your parents told you
I know
that.
that for a fact. Yeah, that is a fact. Now you know my age. Anyways.
Putting the pieces together slowly but surely after a decade, they're going to figure it out.
Yep.
They're going to reference reference your Amazon cart. See how old you are.
The references are for nothing. I'm making the same point everybody else is. So, I don't know. Maybe Tom, you can kind of weigh in with your thoughts on all this.
Close it out for us, Tom.
What I will say is the things that would have made a good movie, again, they totally underexplained. I wanted to know more about the world, why it was that way, what led to these areas of overpopulation. One of the things I wanted to know badly was why Columbus. Why is Columbus
They do explain that in the book. They do explain that in the book.
I can't remember why.
I believe they went to both of the game makers went to like Ohio State, and they started their game company outside of Columbus, if I recall correctly.
Which I think was just like the author was from Columbus.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, that's all it really was.
It is so incredibly random that it could not have been completely coincidental or by some random act. Like, yeah, there was a reason why it was Columbus, and I totally believe that the author was from Columbus. So he's like, I will set a book here.
Elevate the city.
But yes,
It's not like it's a tech hub, right?
No,
like you'd expect it to be like in a Dallas
Silicon
or
Valley
Silicon
or
Valley or
something. Yeah.
Atlanta or something, or like.
But yeah, I mean, I could see if you strip this movie down to the bare bones, you've got it's got good imagery with the post-apocalypse, with the stacked up trailers. Like that's something kind of different and unique-ish. There's these technology-driven sort of apocalyptic events that are alluded to but are never explained in any way, and all of that.
The trailers are falling over.
Yes, all of that would have, and what I will say is that the action sequences, because it's Spielberg, were very, very engaging and very technically proficient and artfully shot.
Really?
I thought so.
I disagree as well, but I can.
I thought it was a mess. It was like a mess, like the way the Avengers movies are or whatever. And I don't know what's happening. There's like a lot happening.
That's part of the style. It's all quick cuts, and there's an element of chaos to it, but that's supposed to be portrayed by the action moving quickly, and jumping between characters and different perspectives. Yeah. And I kind of like that, and that's why I always perked up when the action was going on. But there was only really just the actual ending war piece, and then the race piece, and that was kind of it. Mm-hmm. But again, to Judge's point, you strip out all the references, and at this point, there's basically no movie for anybody. But you strip out the references, and it leaves like, if you strip out every single one-liner or quick, hey, look, there's that thing out of this movie, you probably get about another half hour back.
Yeah.
So at that point, go back and explain some of the world building stuff, and you might have a movie on your hands.
Do you think they shouldn't have called out the references?
No, I think they had to, because it's the whole crux of the movie, right?
Yeah, but couldn't that have made it the movie a game in a sense, like I alluded to talking about Anthony and his fiance playing I Spy? Like, if you don't point them out, it makes it like the event of watching the movie, trying to point out the references in your head a little more.
Yeah, my feeling is that Spielberg was like, well, people are going to do this anyway, so why don't we just have the character call it out? That way they don't miss anything.
Right.
Or confirm it for them like a quiz show.
That also, too. Like, you get the right answer while you're sitting there.
To kind of piggyback on Tom's point of like how the way that the action was shot, I feel like that was like kind of like a symptom. I think like they wanted this movie to feel like sort of like an action first person video game, right? So there's like a lot going on at all times. There's a lot of explosions. There's a lot of action. Things happen very fast. And I felt like that was really to the detriment of the film, because like the book kind of reflects this like bygone age of like pen and paper RPGs and like old ass Atari games that are like kind of like based on like trial and error and like questing and riddles. And like to me, the book, and early on in this movie, it felt like, yeah, we're trying to like solve riddles. We're trying to learn things. We're trying to figure out what we're doing, if it's right or wrong. And like the end was just like this big action scene that really, really put me off.
That don't get asses in seats, bro.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Don't get me wrong. That movie would have been, the movie I proposed would be a Snorefest, but I don't know. It just, to me, like, incorporate both of them. Like, try and like pay homage to what the book is trying to pay homage to, which is why I was really disappointed to find that the author was a co-screenwriter on this. I was like, what the? You wrote a book that is like really an antithesis to what you're seeing on screen. So
he probably took to the criticism from the book.
I'm sure.
Tried to like right the ship a little bit in his mind, I'm guessing. With the screenplay. Yeah. If he did really have a big hand in it, that's my guess. By like maybe like you said, kind of being at odds with his own love for nostalgia. Yeah. I don't know, but whatever.
It just comes back to who is this movie for?
And it wasn't for me, bro.
Yeah.
Yes. If it was going to be for anybody, I thought it would be Anthony.
And it wasn't. It just failed on a lot of levels. I was disappointed. So I came in. I was like, I'm gonna watch this movie. You guys are gonna be super negative, and I'm gonna be super positive, and we're gonna have a lively, spirited debate. And I'm sorry to say that I can't defend this one.
I appreciate your honesty. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was worried you would try to force a take, if I'm being honest.
Nope, that sounds like something I would do. Can't do it. If maybe if we recorded this tomorrow and I had a day to sit on it, I could defend it. But no, I am raw from coming out of the theater. I just came out, so
I like the honesty.
It could have been a half hour shorter.
The 2 hour runtime, inexcusable.
Way too long. Way too long.
I mean, that's a problem with modern movies for me in general right now. But
they did not have 2 hours worth of story to tell.
No,
it wasn't. Unless they had filled in more of the
outside like Thompson, right?
Yeah.
And to me,
exactly.
all the outside stuff is the most interesting stuff in the film by far. Whether it's the backstory of the creators or what's going on in the real world, like all the Oasis stuff. It's just, I don't know if it's like a.
I think it's torpedoed by the fact that it's a video game. You can't bring yourself to care because the consequence is that someone gets inconvenienced if they die in it.
That's who it's for. I figured out who it's for. People that take video games too seriously.
There it is. We did
it.
All
Good job. That feels like a good note.
Yeah. Well, thank you for watching. Or thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Whatever.
Watching with your ears.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for watching with your ears.